today's session, I am going to discuss about XML operations. See, so far we discussed about Excel operation and the CSV operation, right? In the same way, XML also a data file. XML also will help us to store the data. Okay, in the XML format. XML format, nothing but that can be called as structured markup language. That's the one type of data storing procedure. I'll show you that how XML file will be in general. So let me open this. Let me open this with the Chrome is available here. Yes, I'm opening with the Chrome. Like this, the data will be here. And let me show you one more big XML file so that you may get some clarity. Let me open this one. If I open this, see, this is a structure. Entire data is related to the breakfast. Under that one, again, that is related to the food. This is one footnote. This is another footnote. Like that, this is a structure called XML. Okay, this kind of data can be called as XML. It will looks like HTML, but both are different things. HTML is a kind of development software. By using HTML, you can see. For suppose if you have the HTML file in your device, see, if you open that with the Chrome, you can able to see the website like this. This is the website. Okay, like this. But here, whenever I open this, I'm seeing the data. So this is not the HTML, this is the XML. Remember that. Okay. This is one kind of file which can stores the data. Okay. Here, these things can be called as node. So here, the breakfast can be called as root node, and these footnotes can be called as child nodes. Okay. So we can have the nested nodes. That means under breakfast, we have food, right? Under food, if we want, we can define one more node as well. Okay? So how can we create the XML files is, we can create that in the notepad file, and if we save it as a .xml, that can be converted into the XML file. See, I created this in the notepad file like this. This is the syntax we need to give like this. And after that, I created like this, the breakfast. I opened the breakfast here and I closed the breakfast here. Close command is this one. That means that. Remember this one thing. See, if I consider only this one, this will be not tag. Basically, one group can be called as node. Okay. So this is a node from food start to food end up to here. This is a node. So this is completely a breakfast node. The breakfast node has the different food nodes. Okay. The food node has again the name node. See here, the name node is the price node. Like this, we can define. So now we'll see how can we get the data and how can we deal with this kind of files using automation anyway. Okay. So I'm going back to the automation anyway. I'm going to create a file called XML automation. I'm creating and editing. So the first thing is whatever the file, what we have to do first, we need to read the file, right? So for that, let's go for XML session. Let's see what are the available commands over there in the XML package. Do we have any open XML command? So here we'll not be having the command like open and close. Here you can see that start the session. Okay, I'm defining like start the XML session. Okay. So I'll show you initially with the config file. Okay, I'm going to the desktop file, browse. So here I'm going to choose the file called config. Let me take this path from here and do it here. So you might ask that, Sissy, why will be using this XML files? The XML files will be used as configuration files in general. So what does mean by configuration file is, for suppose you defined a bot. For suppose you are automating a ServiceNow application, or else you are automating a Facebook application. Okay. So the Facebook application, whatever we are using as a user, that is the live version. That is the production version. But before that has been releasing into the production version, there will be two or three shadow versions also. Those URLs will be different. So let me open this first. So this document has been opened. Here I need to go for the config. Where is my config? Yeah, student config. This one. Okay, open this. Assume that generally, for suppose you are going to automate a web application. Okay, okay, web application. Okay, so for this, to automate this web application, you need to open the browser. You need to open that web application in the browser, right? That assume that that can be called as www.webapp.com. This is my website. I need to automate this website. Okay, okay. So this is the live website the end users are using. Okay, you are going to automate this one. So while you are automating, so if you do something wrong, the main data, the original data and the end users will get the impact, right? Assume that this is the application which is related to the bank. So while you are developing the bot, there is a chance to get lot of errors. So we need to test them and we need to fix them. If we do the testing on top of the original website, so the data will be impact, right? So instead of 10,000, if the bot posted that one as 1 lakh, that will be impacts the users, right? That's the reason what bank will do. Bank will clone this website. By cloning this one, it will be creating two more websites. That will be like www.deviphone.webapp.com. This will be given to the developer to develop the app or else to develop the automation bot. And one more thing, www.test-. This will be given to the UAT users and testing users. That means QA team or UAT team to test the bot performance. Because we should not do any mistakes on top of the web application. Okay. So in your bot, what you will be doing is, so you will, to open this website, you will go to the browser package and you will use the open. I'll explaining this one practically in the next session. For now understood. So here you will be giving this particular website as you are the developer and as you are doing this. Okay. Tomorrow you will be sending this to the testing team. At that time, again you need to open this particular command. You need to change it. And whenever you are sending to the live, that means production, at that time again you need to open to the code and you need to change it. So as this is only one value which needs to be changed, okay, you can edit the bot. Like this, you need to change the values, multiple values. Assume that like 20 or 30 values, right? It's not possible every time, right? In the same way, you need to see once bot execution completed, you need to send the email to one guy X at domain.com. Okay. Tomorrow X resigned. In the place of X, Y came. Right? Domain.com. After 2-3 years. Okay. But As this is the old one, the developer is already left. Okay, or else you submit it to other guy. For this, again, you need to go to the code and do you need to change the code. So that is not, even though if it's required, we can do that, but that's not the recommended, right? So that's the reason we'll be defining all these configurable values inside the XML file. So whenever we need to change some values, instead of changing the code, we'll be changing the values inside this file. Okay. Like that, we can manipulate our bot. Is it clear for you guys how we can use this thing in real time? I'll be explaining you in coming sessions. But concept wise, just let me know if it is clear for you, or if you have any doubts, just let me know right away. Okay, and considering that it is clear. Okay, for now we are clear that why we'll be using the XML files in the real time in general. Okay, so now I have, let me save this. I've opened this XML. Okay. Once I started this session, must and should I should end also. Okay. Let me copy the session name. This session name is similar to the Excel session name. The Excel session name, database session name, CSV session name. Here also it will act in the similar way. There is no change. Okay. Now I need to validate this XML. Okay. Taking this value. So what is this validate is? So it will verify that the XML is in the correct format or any syntax errors or any errors. So to validate the XMLs, we are having three types of thing here. One is a XML schema, that will be another file called .xsd, and another one is internal DTD, and third one is well formed. I'm just going with the well formed. So if you want to validate against to the any other things, this XML schema or internal DTD, so these details will be provided by the SME to you. Okay, you need not to worry about that. So when whoever the XML file is provided, the XDD file also will be provided by them only. Okay. So for now, I am again validating this against to the well formed. Okay. I am assigning to the output to the sample string. See, if this file is in the expected structure, that means the correct syntax. If this file has created with the correct syntax, the file will be, the return value will be the valid. The file is in incorrect syntax, the return value will be the invalid. So, so once I validated, I'll check that whether this file is valid or not. So for that, how can I do? I'm going to the if. I'm going to take the string, this sample string, taking the source value as the sample string because the value is going to be assigned to the sample string variable, right? That's the reason. Sample string. The value of this sample string is equals to valid. So if you want to match the case, you can select this one, otherwise you need not select this one. And I'm saving this. If it is valid, okay, putting that comment here and putting that. See, observe this. I'm going to use this particular XML task in the future for the future classes as a reference. That's why I'm creating this ATMX file with the real-time coding standards. This is the valid XML. Build your business logic. Okay. The same way, for suppose if this is not valid, that means if it is invalid, for that what we have to do, else second best. Okay, less than expected. So I'm copying this comment and I'm putting here. This is the invalid XML. Send an business exception to the user. Okay. See, whenever the document is invalid, you need to send the exception that, dear user, you send me this so and so config dot student config dot xml file, but this is the invalid file. Please verify that. So like this, we need to send the email here. Okay. But before opening this file, I want to check that whether the file is there or not. Okay. For that, what I'll do is, before starting this XML session, I'll take a if condition. I'll take the if condition. I'll take the else also. Okay. I'm putting all this stuff, the if condition. For the if condition, I'll write the logic. What is the logic is, file exists. See here, file exists. I'm taking here. So for this, what I'll do is, I'll create a variable. So I'll take the type as a file type here. I'll take the file type and I'll naming it as student config file. And so description, I'm going to place here, this variable is going to hold the student config file path. Okay. I'm going to take it from the desktop file. So here I need to browse, right? So where is my file? Yeah. See, I'm going in my way. So if you didn't understood anything, just stop me right away and ask me. Okay. So here I'm considering the student config.xml. Yeah. Okay. And I'm creating this variable. So here I'll tell that okay, this is not expecting the file format as input. If this is not expecting the file format as input, we can do two things. We can assign entire path to a string variable. So because as this is not expecting the file format as an input, I can do one thing. So let me go to the variables. Not able to edit this. Okay. Let me copy entire this path. Copy. I'll create a variable string type student config, right? And I can give the value here, and here I can pass that student config. Okay, this will check that whether that is there or not. Otherwise, let's see, is there any possibility to perform the inline typecasting? Okay, student config file. This is the file type, but this is not the expected format. So let me try to do the implicit. The get name is there. Maybe it will returns the thing. Let me save it. See, error got. So it will convert that file type into the string type. See, file to string. If you see the hover, see here, that file to string conversion. So I did that. So that's the reason I don't want this string type file. I'm deleting this. So if this file exists, let's do all this business logic. Open that file, validate that, and implement your business logic. See here, this one. That does not exist. Okay, I'm putting the comment. I'll be implementing these steps in later classes. Okay, that's why I'm putting the comments here right away. Send a business. So student config was not placed in the input folder. Send the business exception to the user. Like this. Now let's see that first of all whether this document is valid or not. Okay, for that I'm going to take the message box. I'm going to check that. Here we assigned it to the sample string, right? I don't want to assign it to the sample string. I'll create a variable that XML, validator. Okay. Here also in the if condition also I'll change it. I don't want to do the sample string. I will be assigning to the XML validator because as I am going to demonstrate you the real time scenarios in the coming classes, I want to make sure everything as per the standards. Okay. See, you may ask that, sir, in my company, so before this one, they define like this VXML validator because this is the variable, or else XML validator because this is the string type. See, different organizations will be following the different patterns. Okay, but should be looks like understandable, right? Instead of saying XML validator, if I say ABC, it will not be the understandable format. But if you see by saying this name, it will give you some clarity. What is this? What this variable is going to? Okay, that's why. The thing is, some organizations may have the variable name like this that will start with the otherwise as this is the string type one str. So that depends on the organization and the architect. Okay, but here I'm trying to make you understood that we need to create the variable names which can serve the purpose. So the purpose and the name of the variable should be matched. Then it will be easy for troubleshooting and debugging in future. Okay. Even though the new developer is going to handle this one, it will be clear for him. If you say ABC, he will be the dumb. So he'll not be able to understood your code. That's why we need to maintain some proper standards. Okay. Now let's see that whether was it this is the valid document or not. Okay, in the message box I didn't put anything. Let me put that the value of XML validator, whether this value is valid or invalid. Okay, here is the message box. Message box is printed, right? Let me read it. Okay, let's do one thing. Right after validation, we'll put the message box and we'll see that what's happened. not going up to here also. One thing, is it going to this else block? No, I'll not found. Save. Maybe that naming convention didn't got the file name. Yeah, file not for okay. This inline typecasting was not work. Okay, fine, no issue. Let me change it. To normal one. Let me take the value from here. Okay, what? Wait, everything. So I'm pasting it here. Save. See valid. One more time, the valid is going to be printed. Okay. Like this, we can validate the document. So here, observe one thing in this if condition. Here, there is a type. So for suppose, if you feel that the bot needs some time to generate the file, at that time you can here you can give that. You give the 60 seconds, even though the file is not there, the bot will wait for 60 seconds to generate that file. Within that 60 seconds, the file got generated. The bot will consider that the file is exist. Otherwise, bot will move to that file does not exist. For suppose the previous step, you wrote some code to generate the file. That will take some time to generate the file. In that scenarios, it's better to provide the waiting period over here. Okay. So like this, we can validate the XML file, right? So once I validated this XML file, okay, instead of XML automation, I'm renaming this file as read config. Okay, for the future reference purpose, read config. So now I want to get the data. Okay, how can I get the data? Is if you see this document, I want to get the values of this URL, path. I don't want this test value. Okay, I'm just okay with the URL and path. Okay, so here the two methods are there. I can show you both the methods. Assume that here every node is repeated only once, doesn't repeat it. In this document, the node is placed only once, but in this document, the nodes are repeated. Okay, the footnote and name and everything is repeated, right? This is the different case. Okay, for now let's go. How can I get the URL and path values? Okay, I'm going here. So for that, we have a command get node under XML. Let me go to the XML. So here, get single node we have. Okay, as this is matched, I'm taking the get single node from the particular session, XML session. Where is it? Here. So what is the node I want to get? I want to get the URL node, right? Where is the URL node? Under config. So what I'll do is I'll give that config. Let me go here. Config is in lowercase only, right? Config also in lowercase and URL also lowercase. However, I'm copying it from there itself. Config. Okay, so it should be in the started node. Config followed by the URL. Okay. So now I'm going to assign this to the URL variable. Okay. Student registration URL. Okay. And I assign that value to the student registration URL. See, see, here I gave the complete path, right? From the root node to the chain node. This can be called as absolute node. Okay. This can be called as absolute node. Okay. In the same way, there is a one more method to define the XPath expression, that is relevant node. So the relevant node will work whenever you don't have the duplicate nodes only. See, there is no duplicate node in this document, the path or URL. Okay. Now I'll get the path value with the relevant node. How can I get that is, let me copy one, and here instead of this one, I'll give the double slash initially. Here I give the single slash, right? Directly I give the double slash and I'll say that path. And I'll assigning this to the student details file. That path is going to be saved into the student details file. Now let me print it. Whether this has been fetched the this URL and student details information or not. Student details file. Okay. Why it's not showing the URL variable? Let me save the document first. Yeah. Here is student registration URL. Okay. Student registration URL and student registration file. And observe this, till now, whenever we put the message box, we are closing, I mean, we are clicking on the OK button. Then only the message box is going to be closed. Okay. But in the real time, the human intervention should not be there, right? So that as per standards, we should not use the message box. But in some scenarios, in rare cases, if we use the message box, to close it automatically, you need to enable this checkbox. Okay, here. Okay, here you can give the seconds. After how many seconds you can close it. Thank you. This many seconds I'm not giving like that. I'm just closing after 10 seconds. Okay. And here also see the message box title, Automation Anywhere Enterprise Client. So I don't want to get it as a Automation Anywhere Enterprise Client. Okay, that's the reason I'm removing this. This config details I'm naming it as. Okay, say, I'm removing this message box. I don't want this. I don't want this also. Let me run it now. See, if you see that the message box header will be changed. Oh, yeah, the message box header will be changed, as well as see for the valid thing. See, it is saying that automation anywhere enterprise client, and the time count also not came. Okay, because I didn't enable this. But in the next message box, see, happen. Get there.
You have
Okay,
deleted the if
okay, I
condition.
have deleted that. Okay, no problem. Did I deleted entire code? Get cells also.
Yes. Yes. Instead of message box, you deleted the if condition, so entire thing got deleted.
Okay, let me rebuild this. What we can do? What else we can do? I'm assigning this to the, let me put the message box now. So here I'll be printing that URL as well as file path. However, here I forgot to do that else node. So that, that as well. H1. Okay, but bot is ready. And let me go here in this message box. I'm enabling this and I'm putting the closing time as 10 seconds. And I'm changing the message box header as a config details. Let's check that. Something went wrong. Problem. Okay. The path I gave the capital P. You should not do that because in the document the path is in lowercase. Okay. See, this is the URL and this is the file path. And here the header change config details. Here count is coming. After 10 seconds, that got closed. Like this, we'll be reading the data. Like this, we'll be reading the configuration files in our real-time environment. Okay. So this is about the reading the configuration file.